Normally I don't read bios, but I have to this one. I have to. So Jason is the CEO and co-founder of Clink. He was recently recognized as one of the top 10 most innovative CEOs in banking. He's also a professor of computer science at the University of Michigan. He's on leave currently. But he directs Clarity Lab, one of the top labs in the world to be trained in AI and system design. He also conducts collaborative research with IBM Watson, Google, Facebook, Intel, and the National Science Foundation. Jason has devoted his career to solving difficult real-world problems with AI, computer vision, and natural language processing at scale. Prior to the University of Michigan, Jason was a professor at the UCSD, University of California, San Diego. He has also worked at Google and Intel. Jason's work in building the world's first open source platform for constructing large-scale AI and deep learning-based intelligent personal assistants has been recognized globally and continues to have a significant impact on the tech industry and academia. Jason holds a PhD in computer science from UVA. He recently received prestigious awards including the ISCA Hall of Fame, Google Research Award, and National Science Foundation Career Award. Let's give it up for Dr. Jason Mars.
Hi. So it's an absolute delight to have the opportunity to be here with you guys today to talk a little bit about what's going on with conversational AI, what we've observed as one of the participants from not only an academic perspective, but also from a commercialization perspective. And of course, let's have a little fun. I'm going to play with some experiences up here, experiences that we've built with what we believe to be the best science possible for solving real-world problems when it comes to conversational AI. So, Clink. So this community and the community of conversational AI enthusiasts and practitioners in general may not have heard of Clink. Clink started in 2015 with the sole purpose of improving the quality of life of every human on the planet and reducing the complexity of their lives. It turns out with the copious amounts of data that started to increase in our day-to-day operations, day-to-day life, there's an incredible amount of additional complexity that's introduced to our lives. But as a company circa 2015 that wants to do conversational AI, as you guys may know, just about any random name with a .ai after it was some kind of chatbot, conversational AI, something company, right? And this is an environment where Watson was popular then, and everyone had an entry in the space. So what can a little company from Ann Arbor, Michigan do to come onto the scene? Well, it turned out we had a very simple observation. Everyone's talking about conversational AI, but no one's showing phenomenal experiences, right? Everything is in slide decks, and everything is promises, and everything is talked about. But you couldn't point to experiences and say, that's phenomenal, right? And that has come from somewhere that's not Google or Amazon, right, with their Alexa or their Google Assist. By the way, what Google provides you, and we'll talk a little bit about this, I don't have tons of time, but what Google provides you, everyone else that doesn't work at Google to build conversational AI, is Dialogflow. That is not what Google uses at Google to build their Google Assist experience out of the box. What Amazon offers you is a bot building platform or a chatbot, conversational AI building platform or Lex, which is not what they use to build their out-of-the-box Alexa experience. Those are platforms that are given to enterprises, to practitioners and enthusiasts to build what they can. And in the case of Google, it was out of an acquisition of API.ai, and they retooled it to be the platform where you could build your Google Home skill. However, Google's conversational AI that they deliver to you is not built on that platform. It turns out that there's a couple hard problems when you want to bring the best possible experiences to the market. And one of the problems is not just, well, Google has hired machine learning experts from all over the world. I don't know if you've heard, but they're paying folks like $500 million in RSUs to acquire one world expert to help build their experiences. And that's what they do at Google. But to give you a platform so you can build a similar experience is a hard problem. Building an experience is a hard problem, and then enabling others to build the similar grade of experience is another hard problem. Those are the two problems that we've concerned ourselves at Clink, and it's come out of the dissertation work of Johan Oswald, who is the chief architect of Clink, and one of my second PhD out of the lab. So, okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got here. Then we're going to play with stuff, hopefully. And then we'll play with stuff, and then I'll wrap up. Good. So how did we get here from my observation? This is my opinion. We're supposed to be writing a book about this, but I don't know. It's taken too long. So really, when this transition in society from a commercial standpoint, from a consumer expectation standpoint started, was when Apple took a brave step forward to bring conversational AI to the masses in a consumer product scale way, right? There were conversational experiences everywhere. In your car, circa 15 years ago, you could say, play track number 4. You can say these commands, but those aren't experiences that had the breadth of scale and intrigue as Siri. Now, those who know the Siri company before Apple acquired it, that company was struggling, right? They were taking an enterprise play. They wanted to bring conversational AI to enterprises, but nobody was talking about conversational AI in the way that they did after Apple fueled the transformational shifts of conversational AI. Good, so it started there. Shortly after, when this became something that was clearly enticing consumers, Google made an entry. Right? Google was like, we ought to compete with Apple, Google Assist. Amazon came a little later. Facebook, the biggest tech companies on the planet, thank you. The biggest tech companies on the planet were having offerings that would entice and intrigue folks with this enthusiasm for conversational AI. Facebook's entry was it started with a human-backed, I forget what it called, Facebook M or something. They actually shut that project down not too long ago. And they took a chatbot perspective. The world of chatbots exploded from there. And the opportunity of what it means to automate your enterprise or to automate processes and the potential cost savings also enticed the enterprises and businesses at scale. Now, the problem is, beyond what consumers have experienced with Google Assist that came from Google, not the Google Assist skills, and what they experienced from Alexa, that has set the baseline for expectation of what kind of experience they can have. Now, for us, that baseline is not good enough. It turns out that we believe that interacting with folks is an anthropological, sociological, impacted by the anthropology and sociology and psychology of us. It turns out if you talk to another human being and they're not understanding you right, and you can't understand them, that's almost a visceral, awkward, uncomfortable experience. It's somewhere in our brain. We hate that. And that's kind of the experience we have today. And that's the hard problem. The transformational shift is going to happen when conversational experiences are as reliable and as trustworthy as talking to another human in the room. Messy utterances, changing your mind, skipping around on what you're talking about, and the artificial intelligence is going to follow you every step of the way. But the baseline of expectations is that Google Assist, is that Alexa, and it turns out others have not been able to build it. If you look at the world of chatbots, because of the limitation of the technology, chatbots have evolved into point-and-click interfaces, quick replies. Here's what you should ask. Click it, click it, click it. It's a UI, it's a GUI in the mobile app. I think there's a lot of opportunity actually behind a laptop or desktop, but you need to have, if you expect people to type to it, you need to be robust and trustworthy. So there's a lot more. I have so much more to talk about, but what I'll do, and it's okay. Oh, something happened. Is I can kind of show some experiences that I believe is the next step forward in being able to support messy utterances, right? Having an AI approach that doesn't have to be trained each different utterance that it should be able to understand. One thing we do in our stack, and I'll talk about it since we're having a little bit of technical difficulties and 7 minutes on the clock. One thing we do many things very differently than the way the rest of the market does it. We actually have published a paper at NACL, one of the top tier conferences this year, about insights around building conversational experiences for production while getting to that human in the room level understanding. One thing we do differently is we do not use parts of speech tagging. Some of the best of the others, let's call it that, will identify the nouns, verbs, and adjectives you say in a sentence, build a parts of speech tree, and map that to some grammar representation of what the system should understand. So a conversational designer would specify grammars or various other kinds of rules to say, well, this is what we're looking for and what they've said. And it's a core component in many conversational AI systems. We don't do that. It turns out that if I promise to give someone $1 billion, if they could tell me the last 10 verbs that I said, who in the room thinks you'll get that $1 billion? I don't have $1 billion, but who thinks they can get it? Last 10 verbs. Yet you've been understanding everything that I've been saying to you through this conversation. It turns out that you have neural networks where the words are washing over you and understanding is being plucked out. And our system doesn't recognize nouns, verbs, and adjectives. The words wash over the neural networks in our systems, and semantics, insights are being plucked out. There's no keywords, there's no synonyms, there's no dictionaries in our system. You can say anything, and we use embeddings approaches to map that to the closest recognizable thing that the system understands. Our dialogue management system decouples dialogue management and natural language generation, response generation. So you can take arbitrary numbers of turns through the interaction, and there's no prescribed rule. I might be able to, let's see, what can I do here? Oh, OK. Oh, it was on the screen. Oh. I might just be able to use the audio so you guys can hear it. Seeing it is nice because there's pretty graphics and stuff that pop up, but just for the sake of seeing, oh, good. Good, you've got something. I had slides. Let me see, it's right here. So this is actually how most folks do it. 4 minutes. This is how most folks do it. The other guys, you'll have a tree of a conversation. Each one of those nodes is a step in that structure, and at each structure, there's some things you need to say to make progress in the next step of the conversation. So if you don't say the right thing in one of those places, it breaks, it doesn't understand you, takes you back to the beginning, very uncomfortable. In our system, you can do a relatively complex capability with just 3 states if you decouple the response generation. But let me just do a little bit of fun demo stuff. All right, let's make sure this is working. Demo account. All right, what was my spending last year? OK, it's working.
You spent about $9,316 from your 3 bank accounts over the last 3 months.
All right, that's cool and all, but I remember I dropped a bunch of cash on food when I was in California last year. How much was that?
You spent about $446 from your 3 bank accounts on food and drink in California, which is 1.18% of your total spending from January 1st, 2017 to January 1st, 2018.
It can remember context, of course. How about when I was in Ann Arbor, Michigan?
You spent $2,168 from your 3 bank accounts on food and drink in Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is 5.7.
Hey, can you show me those transactions?
Here are the transactions on food and drink in Ann Arbor, Michigan from January 1st, 2017 to January 1st, 2018 in your 3.
All right, that's cool and all. I want to take all these folks out to dinner tonight. Do you think I should spend $500 on that?
Based on your spending habits, it is not advisable to spend $500 on restaurants. You would be 121.5% above your average.
And notice I said on dinner, and it recognizes restaurants. There's no rule anywhere that says dinner needs to map to restaurants. I can say, hey, so I got a shoe problem. How much should I spend on that next month?
Based on your spending habits, you are about $227 above your monthly budget to spend on clothing and accessories.
All right.
This would reduce your balance to about $16,000.
Awesome. Let me show you, we have a platform. The second hardest problem, so the AI is one. The second hardest problem is to create a platform that enables anyone to build experiences that are best in class for what science has to offer. We built that platform. This experience was built we did this for fun. We built this in 1.5 days with that platform. We integrate crowdsourcing so you can get the data required to train the kind of models that represents the future of models. You can't use 2 utterances per intent to build this. By the way, our system doesn't have intents. It has something called a transitory class, which is very different. Just to impress on you guys, it's very different. Everything else has intents. Anyway, just real quick, time's running out. Hey, just real quick, I need like 2 double cheeseburgers and throw on a large Diet Coke.
Okay, I've added 2 double cheeseburgers and a large Diet Coke to your order. Would you like anything else, or?
Yeah, I actually got 2 kids in the back that are starving. Could you tell me what kind of Happy Meals you guys carry?
Our kid-friendly restaurants have great Happy Meal options.
I didn't
Like the hamburger made with a 100% beef patty that has
so
no
you get
fillers,
the point. Of
additives,
course, we
or
took the
preservatives,
responses from
or
the
our
website.
tender
This
and
is
juicy
standard
chicken McNuggets.
McDonald's. This is standard.
Choose a side and your favorite drink.
Standard
1% low-fat
marketing
white milk,
stuff.
jug or apple juice
And I
free.
wanted to show you
And,
guys
as
the
always, a
platform,
Happy
but
Meal,
I
20
won't be able to
bucks in
show you the
every
platform.
box.
It's really pretty. Go to my website
kid-friendly restaurants
go to
have great Happy
clink.com,
Meal
I'm sorry, to learn more about the platform. But the platform is incredibly powerful. We actually have 8 patents in flight for how you can take that level of AI and train new experiences in any use case in 2 days. There's actually a lot of innovation required in the platform itself. We're launching this in a big way at TechCrunch Disrupt. And as part, I got one of the main stage spots. It's going to be great. And we're democratizing this. So currently, we provide this for the largest institutions in the world. We have a high bar to entry. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars to get started. We're in production with 3 of the top 6 banks in the world, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, at Disrupt, we're going to create the democratized version, which is a SaaS experience that any technical person at any institution can get started with a monthly fee. It's still expensive. It's $1,000 a month. But to have this kind of technology, to have the best experiences possible on the planet, you'll never get that for free. So, awesome. Great. Thank you. I'm out of time.
Let's give it up for Jason. Jason, Dr. Mars, thank you so much.